Captain Sun stood on the observation deck of the warship Defiance and watched Earth turn slowly below him. The blue and green planet looked peaceful from space. Billions of lights covered the night side like tiny stars. Each light was a city, a home, a family. His family was down there too. His wife Mi Young and his daughter Min were waiting for him in Seoul. He would see them in 3 days when his patrol ended. The year was 2347. Humanity had spread across 12 colony worlds, but Earth remained the heart of everything. It was First Contact Day, and the whole planet was celebrating. 50 years ago, humans had met their first aliens and joined the galactic community. It was supposed to be a day of joy. Admiral Dong's voice came through the ship's speakers. He was the commander of Earth's orbital defense fleet. His voice was calm and steady as always. All ships maintain standard patrol patterns. Let the people enjoy their celebration. Nothing will happen today. Lieutenant walked up to stand beside Sun. She was young but brilliant. Everyone said she would be a captain someday. "Beautiful view, sir," she said. Sun nodded. "Every time I see Earth, I remember why we do this job." The sensors officer suddenly shouted from across the bridge, "Captain, we have contacts, many contacts. They just appeared from hyperspace." Sun ran to the tactical display. His blood went cold. The screen was filled with red dots, hundreds of them, thousands of them. "How many?" he asked. The officer's voice shook. 3,000 warships, sir. They match the profile of the Empire." Everyone knew about them. They were an ancient empire that ruled over 400 star systems. They were reptilian creatures who saw younger races as nothing more than resources. Rumors said they had destroyed entire species before, but they had never shown interest in humans, until now. Admiral Dong's voice returned, but now it carried fear. "All ships, this is not a drill. Form defensive positions around Earth. Protect the planet at all costs." Sun looked at the numbers. Earth had 200 warships. They had 3,000. It was not a battle, it was an execution. The first weapons fired. Beams of purple energy cut through space and hit human ships. The destroyer Brave Heart exploded in a ball of fire. Then the cruiser Morning Star. Then 5 more ships. "Return fire," Sun ordered. The Defiance shook as its weapons activated. Human missiles and laser beams struck the fleet, but the damage was small. The enemy ships were bigger, stronger, and there were too many of them. On the main screen, a face appeared. It was High Sovereign, the ruler of the Empire. His scales were dark green, and his eyes were cold like a snake's. He spoke in a voice that had no emotion. "Humans of Earth, your species has been judged. Your worlds will become part of our empire. Your people will serve us. Resistance is foolish. Accept your fate." Admiral Dong responded. His voice was strong even though his fleet was dying around him. "This is Admiral Dong of the Earth Defense Fleet. We reject your demands. We will fight." Showed no reaction. "Then you will die faster." The screen went black. The battle lasted only 2 hours. 160 human ships were destroyed. Admiral Dong died when his flagship was torn apart. The survivors, including the Defiance, were pushed back. Then they turned their weapons on Earth. Sun watched in horror as purple beams rained down on the planet. Cities burned. Oceans boiled where the weapons hit. Millions of people died in seconds. He saw Asia on the screen. He saw the Korean peninsula. He saw Seoul disappear under a wave of fire. "No," he whispered. "No, no, no." Lieutenant grabbed his arm. "Captain, we have to go. We received orders to retreat and protect the colonies." Sun could not move. His wife, his daughter, they were gone. Everything was gone. The planet that had given birth to humanity was burning, and he could do nothing. Captain shouted, "The crew needs you." Her words pulled him back. He looked at her face and saw tears running down her cheeks. She had lost people too. Everyone had lost someone, but she was right. The living needed him now. Set course for New Haven Colony, he said. His voice was empty. Maximum speed. The Defiance turned away from Earth. Behind them, the fleet continued its destruction. The attack lasted 6 hours in total. When it ended, Earth's population of 12 billion had been reduced to 800 million. The survivors hid in underground shelters, waiting for death or rescue that might never come. Warlord, the commander of the military, watched from his flagship as his soldiers finished their work. He was a massive creature covered in battle scars. He had destroyed many worlds before, but something about this attack felt different. The humans fought well, he said to his officers. Their ships were weak, but their spirits were not. They did not surrender even when they had no hope. They are insects, one officer replied. They died like insects. Said nothing. He had seen many races fall to the Empire. Most of them begged for mercy. Most of them broke quickly. But the humans had fought to the last ship. That was unusual. That was something to remember. On the Defiance, Captain Sun stood alone in his quarters. The ship was quiet. No one had words for what had happened. He held a small photograph in his hands. It showed Mi-young and Min at the beach last summer. They were smiling. They were happy. They were gone. Tears fell from his eyes onto the photograph. His hands began to shake. The shaking turned to trembling, and the trembling turned to rage. A rage so deep and so powerful that it burned away his grief like fire burns away paper. He walked to the window and looked out at the stars. Somewhere out there, they were celebrating their easy victory. Somewhere out there, High Sovereign was planning to enslave what remained of humanity. They thought humans were weak. They thought this war was over. They were wrong. Sun pressed his hand against the cold glass. I swear to you, he said quietly. I swear to Mi-young. I swear to Min. I swear to every person who died today. Humanity will survive, and one day we will have our revenge. I will make them pay for what they did, every single one of them, no matter how long it takes, no matter what it costs. I will not rest until the Empire burns. Outside the window, the stars continued to shine. They did not know that they had witnessed the beginning of something new. They did not know that in the darkness of space, in the heart of a broken man, a fire had been lit that would change the galaxy forever. The fall of Earth was not the end of humanity. It was only the beginning. 6 months had passed since the fall of Earth. The survivors called it that now. The fall. 2 words that carried all the pain of 12 billion deaths. 2 words that haunted every human who still lived. Captain Sun walked through the crowded streets of New Haven. The colony on 442B had been a small mining world before the attack. Now it was the new center of human civilization. Refugees from Earth and the destroyed colonies filled every building. People slept in hallways, in storage rooms, in any space they could find. Food was limited. Hope was even more limited. The 12 colonies had been reduced to 7. They had continued their attacks after Earth, destroying 5 more human worlds. Billions more had died. The human species, which once numbered 30 billion across all worlds, now counted only 4 billion survivors. Director waited for Sun in the government building. She was a small woman with gray hair and tired eyes. Before the fall, she had been Earth's ambassador to the galactic community. She had spent her life trying to build peace through diplomacy. Now she carried the guilt of failure on her shoulders every day. Captain, she said as Sun entered, thank you for coming. The room was filled with other leaders. Military commanders, colony governors, scientists, and civilian representatives. They had gathered to decide the future of humanity, if humanity even had a future. Governor Ho of the colony spoke first. He was an old man who believed in peace above all things. We must accept reality, he said. They are too strong. We cannot fight them. Our only hope is to surrender and negotiate for our survival. Many people in the room nodded. They were tired. They were scared. They wanted the killing to stop. Sun stepped forward. Surrender? You want to surrender? His voice was sharp with anger. Did you not see what they did to Earth? They killed 12 billion people in 6 hours. They did not negotiate. They did not take prisoners. They burned our world and laughed. And what do you suggest? Governor Ho replied. We have 40 ships left. They have thousands. Fighting them is suicide. Living on our knees is not living, Sun said. The do not want peace. They want slaves. They want to use us until there is nothing left. I would rather die fighting than live as a slave. The argument continued for hours. Both sides shouted and accused each other of foolishness. Director listened to everything without speaking. Finally, she raised her hand and the room went quiet. Both of you are right, she said. We cannot win a direct war against but we also cannot surrender and expect mercy. We need a third option. Dr. One stood up. He was the chief scientist of the Human Research Division. He was thin and quiet, the type of man who preferred laboratories to meetings. But today his eyes were bright with excitement. I have something to share, he said. My team has been studying the ships we encountered during the battle. We found something interesting. Their power systems rely on crystalline cores. These cores are strong, but they have a weakness. He pressed a button and a hologram appeared. It showed a power core and the energy patterns around it. These crystals are vulnerable to specific radiation frequencies, Dr. One explained. If we can generate the right frequency, we can overload their cores. Their ships would lose power completely. We could disable entire fleets without firing a single weapon. The room was silent. Then Lieutenant spoke. How long would it take to build such a weapon? 2 years, Dr. One replied. Maybe less if we have enough resources. Director stood up. Her tired eyes now showed something new, hope. Then we have our answer. We will not surrender. We will not fight openly. We will hide. We will build. And when we are ready, we will strike back. She looked around the room. I am authorizing a secret program called the Phoenix Contingency. Our public position will be one of survival and caution. But in secret, we will prepare for war. Captain Sun, you will lead our military operations. Lieutenant will be your tactical advisor. Dr. One will lead the weapons research. Governor Ho shook his head. This is madness. If they discover what we are doing, they will destroy us all. They are already trying to destroy us all, Sun replied. At least this way we have a chance. The meeting ended. The Phoenix Contingency began that very day. Sergeant Bora was 25 years old. She had been a ground forces soldier on Earth, stationed in. She was visiting her grandmother in the countryside when the attack came. That visit saved her life. Her entire unit, all her friends, everyone she knew they all died in the first hour. Now she trained new soldiers on New Haven. Most of them were young like her. Most of them had lost everything like her. And most of them wanted revenge like her. They think we are weak, she told her soldiers during training. They think we will break. They are wrong. We are human. We have survived ice ages, plagues, and wars. We have survived everything the universe has thrown at us. We will survive this too, and then we will make them pay. 3 months after the meeting, Captain Sun led the first resistance mission. It was a small operation. 20 ships attacking a supply depot on the edge of their territory. The odds were bad, but the target was soft. The battle lasted 15 minutes. Sun's ship struck fast and hard. They destroyed the depot, captured 3 cargo ships full of supplies, and escaped before reinforcements arrived. It was a small victory, but it was a victory. When the news reached New Haven, people celebrated in the streets. For the first time since the fall, they had something to cheer about. They were not unbeatable. They could be hurt. But the celebration did not last long. They responded to the attack with terrible force. Warlord personally led a fleet to the colony of Epsilon. The colony had nothing to do with the attack. It was just the closest human world. Did not care about guilt or innocence. He wanted to send a message. 2 million humans died in one day. The colony was burned to glass. On New Haven, Director received the news with tears in her eyes. "This is my fault," she said. "We attacked them and now more people are dead." Sun stood beside her. His face was hard as stone. "No, this is their fault. They are the ones who attack innocents. They are the ones who murder children. We did not start this war, but we will finish it." The destruction of Epsilon did not break the human spirit. Instead, it made people angry. More volunteers joined the military. More scientists worked on Project Sunrise, the code name for Dr. One's weapon. More people believed in the Phoenix contingency. Elder of the species sent a secret message to Director. There were peaceful traders who had always stayed neutral in galactic conflicts, but was different. He had watched them destroy many races over the centuries. He admired the humans for their courage. "We cannot help you openly," his message said, "but we can help you quietly. Information supplies safe passage through our space. They have made many enemies. You are not alone." The scattered flame of humanity refused to die. In secret laboratories, scientists worked day and night. In hidden training camps, soldiers prepared for battle. In the hearts of survivors, anger and determination grew stronger with each passing day. They believed they had already won. They believed humans were just insects waiting to be crushed. They did not see the fire burning in the darkness. They did not feel the coming storm. Their mistake would cost them everything. 2 years had passed since the fall of Earth. The galaxy believed humanity was broken. They told everyone that the human species would soon disappear completely. They were confident in their victory. They were fools. Captain Sun, now called Commander Sun, sat in the war room of his hidden base. The location was a secret known only to a few dozen people. It was an asteroid in the middle of nowhere, hollowed out and turned into a fortress. From here, he commanded the Phoenix contingency. The wall screens showed a map of human resistance operations. Red dots marked targets. Green dots marked successful attacks. There were many green dots now. In 2 years, Sun's forces had struck over 200 positions. Supply lines, patrol ships, remote bases, communication stations. Every attack was small. Every attack was careful. But together, they had become a major problem for the Empire. "They are starting to feel the pain," Lieutenant said. She had become Sun's most trusted advisor. Her brilliant tactical mind had saved countless lives during the Shadow War. "Our latest intelligence says they are losing 10 ships per week to our attacks. They cannot replace them fast enough." Sun nodded but did not smile. "It is not enough. We hurt them but we do not wound them. We need to do more." The door opened, an ambassador entered. Before the fall, she had been a junior diplomat. Now she was the leader of human intelligence operations. She spent her time in neutral alien territories, gathering information and building secret alliances. "I have news from the Council," she said. "Elder has convinced 5 more species to support us quietly. And the Pale Ones. They cannot fight openly, but they will share information and supplies." Sun looked at her. Why do they help us? They could destroy them too." Sat down. Her face was tired from long travel, but her eyes were sharp. "Because they are afraid, not of us but of what happens if we fail. The Empire has been growing for 10,000 years. They have destroyed over 50 species. Every race in the galaxy knows that they could be next. When they saw humans fighting back, they saw hope." "Hope," repeated. "We are 4 billion people against an empire of trillions, and we are their hope." "We are the only ones who fight," replied. "Everyone else runs or surrenders. Humans are different. The galaxy has never seen anything like us." On the occupied colony of, Commander Sung-Ho prepared for the biggest operation of the war. He was a large man with a face and hands that had known hard work all his life. Before becoming a soldier, he had been a farmer. Now he grew something different. He grew revolution. For 18 months, Sung-Ho had been building a secret army on. They had occupied the planet but left most of the population alive to work as slaves. That was their mistake. Sung Ho organized the workers into cells. He smuggled weapons from off-world. He trained fighters in hidden locations. The saw only obedient slaves. They did not see the fire burning beneath the surface. "Tonight we strike," Sung Ho told his commanders. 47 targets across the planet, power stations, military posts, communication towers. We hit them all at once. Before they can respond, we take the capital. A young fighter raised her hand. "Sir, what about the garrison? They have 1,000 soldiers and heavy weapons." Sung Ho smiled. It was not a kind smile. "I have been killing for 2 years. They are big, they are strong, but they are slow and they are arrogant. We are faster, we are smarter, and we want this more than they do." The liberation of took 3 days. The first night, human fighters destroyed every power station on the planet. In the darkness that followed, they attacked from every direction. They were confused. Their communications were dead. They could not call for help. Commander Sung Ho personally led the assault on the capital. He carried a captured weapon in his hands and hate in his heart. His farm had been on Earth. His family had died in the fall. Every he killed was payment for that debt. When the sun rose on the third day, the last soldiers on surrendered. 800 humans had died in the battle. Over 900 lay dead. For the first time since the fall, humanity had liberated an entire planet. The news spread across the galaxy like wildfire. Humans had won, not a small raid but a real victory. They had taken back their world. Warlord received the report in his command chamber. His officers expected him to rage. They expected him to order immediate retaliation. Instead, he sat in silence for a long time. "Show me the battle recordings," he finally said. He watched everything. He saw human soldiers fighting without fear. He saw their tactics, their coordination, their refusal to give up. He saw Commander Sung Ho in the final battle, standing in the open and challenging warriors to face him. "Impressive," said quietly. "My lord," one of his officers asked, confused. "The humans," explained. "They learn quickly, they adapt, they do not make the same mistake twice. In my 1,000 years of war, I have never seen a species improve so fast." He stood up and walked to the window. "We made a mistake at Earth. We should have killed them all. Now they grow stronger every day." "They are still weak," the officer insisted. "We can crush them whenever we choose." Turned to face him. His ancient eyes were cold. "Can we? They have been fighting us for 2 years. Our losses grow each month. Other species now whisper about human resistance. If we do not end this soon, it will spread. Other races will rise against us." He made his decision. "I will go to the High Sovereign. I will request full mobilization of the Imperial fleet. We will gather every ship we have and burn every human world to ash. No survivors, no slaves, complete extinction." On the Phoenix contingency base, Dr. One called an emergency meeting. He had been working without sleep for weeks, and dark circles surrounded his eyes, but his voice was strong with excitement. "Project Sunrise is complete," he announced. "We have built and tested the weapon. It works even better than we hoped. One device can disable every ship within 10,000 kilometers." The room erupted in cheers. 2 years of secret work had finally paid off. "We have produced 100 devices so far," one continued. "Enough for our entire fleet. They will not know what hit them." Commander Sun raised his hand for silence. "This is wonderful news, Doctor, but I have just received intelligence from Ambassador. They are mobilizing. High Sovereign has ordered every ship in the Empire to gather for one final attack. They are coming to exterminate us completely." The celebration died. Fear filled the room. "How many ships?" asked. Sun's face was grim. 10,000, maybe more. They will reach our space in 3 months. Director, who had joined the meeting by hologram, spoke. "Then we have 3 months to prepare for the fight of our lives. We have weapons, we have allies, we have courage. The question is, do we have enough?" Sun looked at the faces around him. They were afraid, but they were not broken. They had survived the fall. They had fought in the shadows for 2 years. They had grown from victims into warriors. 3 months, he said. We will be ready. And when they come, we will show them what humanity truly is. Outside the base, in the cold darkness of space, the stars continued their eternal dance. They did not know that a storm was coming. They did not know that the fate of an entire species would be decided in the flames of the greatest battle the galaxy had ever seen. The Shadow War was over. The real war was about to begin. The Tau system had become the heart of human resistance. 3 months of preparation had turned the system into a fortress. Every planet, every moon, every asteroid had been armed. The largest human fleet ever assembled orbited the fourth planet, a massive gas giant called Guardian. Admiral Sun stood on the bridge of his flagship, the Defiance. The promotion had come 2 months ago, given by director herself. He had not wanted it. He still thought of himself as a simple captain, but humanity needed a symbol, a leader who represented their refusal to surrender. Like it or not, Sun had become that symbol. The fleet status display showed 300 human warships. It was the largest force humans had ever gathered. It was also terribly small compared to what was coming. Long-range sensors are picking up the fleet, Lieutenant reported from her station. Her voice was steady despite the fear that everyone felt. 10,400 ships, Admiral. They will arrive in 6 hours. Sun nodded. 10,000 against 300. The numbers were impossible, but they had Project Sunrise, they had allies, and they had something that would never understand. They had hope. Director appeared on the main screen. She was broadcasting from New Haven, coordinating the civilian side of the defense. Admiral, I am transmitting a message to the entire galaxy. Every species will see this. Every world will know what happens here today. Sun nodded. Tell them to watch carefully. Tell them that today humans show the galaxy what courage looks like. Began her broadcast. Her words went out to thousands of worlds, millions of listening ears. This is Director of the Human Alliance. In 6 hours, the Empire will attempt to destroy us. They have 10,000 ships. We have 300. By every measure, we should lose, but humans have never been good at math. We do not calculate our chances and then decide to fight. We decide to fight first. We will not surrender. We will not run. We will stand and we will fight, and if we must die, we will die free. To every species watching, remember this. Tyranny only wins when good people do nothing. Today, humans do something. The message ended. Across the galaxy, billions of beings watched and waited. 4 hours later, the first surprise arrived. Admiral, the sensor officer shouted. New contacts dropping out of hyperspace. 500 ships. Sun's heart sank. Had the sent reinforcements? Were they attacking early? Then the identification signals came through. They are ships, sir. It is Elder's fleet. On the screen, Elder appeared. He was tall and thin, with silver skin and gentle eyes. They had always been peaceful. They had never fought in any war until now. Admiral Sun said, the people stand with humanity. We have hidden for too long. We have watched them destroy others while we did nothing. No more. Today we fight. Before Sun could respond, more alarms sounded. More ships were arriving. 200 destroyers, their hulls covered in living armor. 100 cruisers, elegant and deadly. 150 battleships, ancient and powerful. 70 carriers, each holding hundreds of fighter craft. The pale ones came last. They had no fleet of their own, but they brought something else. They were masters of energy manipulation. 50 of them had volunteered to amplify the Project Sunrise devices. With their help, the weapons would be 10 times more powerful. In 1 hour, the human fleet of 300 grew into an allied fleet of 2,000. I do not believe it, whispered. She was crying, though she did not seem to notice. They came. They actually came. Sun opened a channel to all ships. This is Admiral Sun of the Human Alliance. To all species who have joined us today, thank you. I know what this cost you. I know the risk you take. When this battle is over, the galaxy will remember your courage. Now, let us show the what happens when free people stand together. 2 hours later, the Armada arrived. The sky filled with ships, 10,000 vessels, each one carrying death. The flagship of Warlord led the formation. It was called the Conqueror, and it was the largest warship in the galaxy. Himself stood on its bridge, watching the Allied fleet with ancient eyes. "Interesting," he said to his officers. "The insects have found friends. It changes nothing. We will destroy them all." High Sovereign appeared on screen. The ruler of the Empire was not here in person. He preferred to watch from safety. "Warlord, begin the attack. I want to see these humans burn." "As you command, my lord," gave the order. The fleet surged forward. The battle began. The first wave of ships charged at the Allied line. Admiral Sun watched them come. "All ships prepare Project Sunrise. Fire on my command." The pale ones began their work. Their bodies glowed with strange light as they focused their power. The Project Sunrise devices hummed with energy. "Fire," Sun said. 100 pulses of radiation spread across space. The effect was immediate and devastating. Every ship in range lost power. Their weapons went silent. Their engines died. 6,000 ships drifted helplessly in the void. "Direct hit," shouted. 60% of their fleet is disabled." For a moment, Sun felt hope. Maybe they could win this. Maybe it would be that easy. Then Warlord's voice cut through the celebration. "Clever humans, very clever, but we have been fighting wars for 10,000 years. Did you think we would not prepare?" The remaining 4,000 ships changed formation. They activated new shields, shields that blocked the Project Sunrise radiation. They had learned. They had adapted. "Continue forward," ordered. "Destroy them all." The real battle began. Ships exploded on both sides. Missiles and energy beams filled space with light and death. The Allied fleet fought with everything they had, but there were too many and too strong. 1 hour into the battle, the Allied fleet had lost 500 ships. They had lost 800, but they could afford those losses. The Allies could not. "We are losing," Director said. Her voice carried despair. "We cannot hold them." Admiral Sun stared at the tactical display. His mind raced through options. They could retreat, but the would follow. They could surrender, but the would kill them anyway. There had to be another way. Then he saw it. The gas giant Guardian hung in space behind the Allied fleet. Its massive storms created powerful magnetic fields that could amplify the Project Sunrise radiation. He said, "If we release the Sunrise devices into Guardian's atmosphere, what would happen?" Her eyes widened as she understood. The magnetic field would amplify the radiation. It would spread across the entire system. Every ship would be affected, even the ones with new shields. "But so would our ships," another officer pointed out. "No," replied, checking her calculations. "Human and an Allied technology uses different power systems. We would be affected but not disabled. We could survive it. They could not." Sun made his decision. "All Allied ships fall back to Guardian. We are going to end this." The Allied fleet retreated. The pursued, sensing victory, watched from his flagship as the humans and their allies ran toward the gas giant. "They flee," one of his officers laughed. "The famous human courage is gone." But did not laugh. Something felt wrong. The human admiral was not the type to run. This was a trap. "All ships halt," he ordered, but it was too late. The Allied fleet reached Guardian. Dr. One personally triggered the device. Every remaining Project Sunrise weapon was launched into the gas giant's atmosphere. The pale ones used the last of their strength to amplify the effect. The gas giant glowed. Its magnetic field pulsed. A wave of radiation spread across the entire Tau system. Every ship went dark. The battle should have been over, but on the Conqueror lights still flickered. Ship had experimental shielding stronger than any other. It had survived. Opened a channel. Admiral Sun, your trick has failed. My ship still lives, and I will kill you myself. The Conqueror moved forward. It was alone now, but it was the largest warship ever built. It was enough. Sun looked at, she nodded. All ships engage the Conqueror, he ordered. We end this today. The final battle of the war was about to begin. The Conqueror moved through space like a beast made of metal and fire. It was 3 kilometers long, bristling with weapons that could destroy planets. Warlord stood on its bridge, watching the Allied fleet gather against him. His ancient eyes showed no fear. He had fought 1,000 battles. He had never lost. You fight well, humans, he broadcast to the Allied fleet. Better than any species I have faced, but this ends now. My ship is the mightiest in the galaxy. Your weapons cannot harm me. Admiral Sun sat in the command chair of the Defiance. Around him, his crew worked in focused silence. They had come so far. They had sacrificed so much. The fleet lay disabled across the system, 6,000 ships drifting without power, but the Conqueror remained. One ship, one last enemy. All ships attack Pattern Delta, Sun ordered. Focus fire on the Conqueror's engines. 50 Allied ships opened fire. Missiles and energy beams struck the massive warship from every direction. The Conqueror's shields glowed under the assault, but they held. Ship returned fire. 3 Allied cruisers exploded in seconds. We cannot penetrate the shields, Lieutenant reported. Her hands flew across her console, analyzing data. They are too strong. We would need to hit the same spot 100 times to break through. Then we hit them 100 times, Sun replied. The battle continued. The Allied fleet danced around the Conqueror, striking and retreating. But for every hit they scored, killed another ship. The Allied forces were dying faster than they could hurt him. On the Conqueror's bridge, watched the humans with something like respect. They would not run. They would not surrender. Even now, facing certain death, they continued to fight. Impressive, he said. Foolish but impressive. He opened a channel to Sun. Admiral, I offer you one chance. Surrender now and I will give your people a quick death. Continue fighting and I will make them suffer. Sun's face appeared on the screen. His eyes were hard as stone. Warlord, let me tell you something about humans. We do not surrender, not to you, not to anyone. You can kill us, but you cannot defeat us. Our spirits will never break. Nodded slowly. Then we fight to the end. I expected nothing less. He closed the channel. Grabbed Sun's arm. Admiral, I have an idea. The Conqueror's shields are weakest at the exhaust ports near the engines. If we can get close enough, we might be able to disable them. But the only ship fast enough to get through their defenses is the Defiance. If we get that close, they will destroy us, Sun said. Maybe, admitted. But if we do not try, everyone dies anyway. Sun looked around the bridge. He saw the faces of his crew. They were afraid, but they were ready. They had all lost family on Earth. They had all sworn revenge. This was the moment they had been fighting for. Take us in, he ordered. The Defiance shot forward. It was a small ship, built for speed rather than power. It weaved through the Conqueror's weapons fire, dodging beams that could have destroyed it in one hit. The crew held their breath as death passed within meters of their hull. Enemy fighters launching, the tactical officer reported. 30 contacts coming fast. I will handle them, Commander Sung Ho's voice came through the radio. He had survived the liberation of and joined the fleet for this final battle. His ship, the Liberator, moved to intercept the fighters. Go, Admiral, save humanity. The Liberator and its escort ships engaged the fighters. Explosions filled space behind the Defiance as Sung Ho bought them time. We are approaching the target zone, reported. 30 seconds to optimal firing position. The Conqueror finally noticed the small ship speeding toward it. His voice echoed through the bridge. There you are, human. Do you think you can harm me with that tiny vessel? The Conqueror's secondary weapons locked onto the Defiance. In moments, it would be destroyed. 20 seconds, said. Her voice was calm despite the death approaching them. All power to forward shields, Sun ordered. Everything we have. The first shot hit the Defiance. The ship shook violently, consoles exploded, crew members screamed, but the shields held. 10 seconds. Another shot. The shields began to fail. Warning alarms filled the bridge. The next hit would destroy them. 5 seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1, fire. Press the button. The Defiance launched every weapon it had at the Conqueror's exhaust ports. The small opening in the shields was barely visible, but its aim was perfect. The missiles struck true. Inside the Conqueror, systems began to fail. The engine section exploded. The great ship lurched and began to drift. Its weapons went silent. Direct hit, whispered. She could not believe they were still alive. The Conqueror is disabled. Stood on his dying bridge. Fires burned around him. His officers lay dead or wounded. The greatest warship in the galaxy had been crippled by a ship 1/100th its size. Impossible, he said, but then he laughed. It was a deep, genuine laugh. These humans, these magnificent, impossible humans. He opened one final channel to Sun. Admiral, I am beaten. My ship is dead. My fleet is disabled. You have won. He paused, and his voice carried strange emotion. In 1,000 years of war, no enemy has ever defeated me. Until you, humanity has earned my respect. Sun stared at the screen. He thought of his wife. He thought of his daughter. He thought of Earth burning. He should want to kill this creature. He should want to make him suffer. But something held him back. Revenge had driven him for 3 years. It had kept him alive when he wanted to die. But now, looking at its face, he saw something he did not expect. He saw a warrior who had lost with honor. Warlord, Sun said slowly, I have dreamed of this moment for 3 years. I have dreamed of killing you and every who attacked my home. But that is not who I am. That is not who humans are. He took a deep breath. I offer you mercy. Surrender your remaining forces. Order your people to leave human space forever, and I will let you live. The bridge of the Defiance was silent. Everyone stared at their admiral. After everything they had done, he was offering them mercy. Was equally surprised. Why? We killed billions of your people. We burned your world. How can you offer mercy? Because that is what makes us human, Sun replied. We are not monsters. We do not destroy for pleasure. We fight when we must, but we also know when to stop. This war is over. Let it end. Considered for a long moment. Then he lowered his head. I accept. All forces will stand down. We will withdraw from human space and never return. He gave the order. Across the system, disabled ships acknowledged. The war was over. But on Prime, High Sovereign watched the surrender with fury. No, I do not accept this. We cannot lose to insects. He ordered his guards to prepare his personal fleet. He would go to Tau himself and destroy the humans. But his guards did not move. Instead, they pointed their weapons at him. You led us to destruction, one of them said. You were wrong about the humans. Warlord was right. The Empire must change. Died that day, killed by his own people. The Empire did not collapse, but it transformed. New leaders took power, leaders who remembered what happened when they underestimated humanity. 1 year later, Admiral Sun stood on Earth. The planet was still from the fall. Some cities would never be rebuilt. Some wounds would never fully heal. But life had returned. New buildings rose from the ashes. Children played in parks. Flowers grew in the sunlight. He stood before a great memorial wall. It listed every name of every person who had died in the war, 12 billion names. He found the two he was looking for. Mi Young, Min, his wife, his daughter. I did it, he whispered to them. I kept my promise. Humanity survived. We had our revenge, but not the revenge I expected. We won by being true to ourselves. by showing mercy when we could have chosen cruelty, by proving that humans are better than our enemies believed. Director walked up beside him. She was old now, tired from years of war, but she was smiling. "Admiral, the memorial ceremony is about to begin. They want you to speak." Sun nodded. He walked to the stage where thousands of people had gathered, humans and all the other species who had fought together. They waited to hear his words. He looked at their faces. He saw hope, he saw pride, he saw the future. "When they came to Earth," he began, "they thought they knew what we were. They called us weak. They called us insects. They believed we would break easily. They were wrong." He paused. The crowd was silent. "We survived not because we were the strongest, not because we had the best weapons, not because we survived because we never gave up. Because when they tried to break us, we held on to each other. Because when they killed our families, we found new families among the stars. Because when they tried to take our hope, we created new hope from nothing." He looked at the memorial wall, at the billions of names carved into stone. "They are watching us now," he said. "Everyone we lost. They see what we have built. They see the peace we have won. And I believe they are proud. Not proud because we destroyed our enemies. Proud because we became something better than our enemies. We showed the galaxy what humanity truly is." He raised his voice. "We are survivors. We are fighters. We are protectors. And when the universe tried to extinguish our light, we burned brighter than ever before. That is humanity. That is who we are. And that is who we will always be." The crowd cheered. The sound rose to the sky, carrying the voices of billions across the cosmos. The war was over. Humanity had won. And the galaxy would never forget the day the humans had their revenge. Not through destruction, but through courage. Not through hatred, but through hope. The stars watched from above, eternal and patient. And in their light, humanity began to build a future worthy of all who had died to create it.